We're incredibly grateful for your support. Before we begin today's tale, tell us, which city or country are you joining us from? We love connecting with our global audience. Now let's dive into today's story. Nathan Walsh's fingers danced across the keyboard with practiced precision, his eyes fixed on the multiple monitors before him. The digital clock on his screen blinked 3 a.m., but exhaustion couldn't touch him, not when he was this close. The AI algorithm he'd spent 3 years perfecting was finally showing the results he'd dreamed of. His home office in the Brooklyn brownstone felt smaller these days, cramped with servers and development equipment. The walls were covered with whiteboards filled with complex equations and workflow diagrams. Empty coffee cups and energy drink cans littered his desk, silent witnesses to countless nights like this one. The sound of heels clicking against pavement drew his attention. Through the thin walls of their brownstone, he heard the car door slam, followed by Andrea's voice carrying up from the street. His wife's tone was hushed but clear in the quiet night. "He's still obsessed with that stupid app." Andrea's voice dripped with contempt. "No, he suspects nothing. Just keep everything ready. A few more weeks is all we need." Nathan's fingers stilled on the keyboard. The lines of code before him blurred as memories surfaced unbidden. 5 years ago, Andrea had been different, or perhaps she'd just hidden her true nature better. Back then, she'd been a junior analyst at Goldman Sachs, impressed by his position as a senior developer at Microsoft. She'd listened with genuine interest as he'd explained his ideas about revolutionizing online shopping through AI. Think about it, he'd told her on their third date, sketching his vision on a napkin. An algorithm that can predict your perfect shoe size across any brand, any style. No more returns, no more uncertainty. It could change everything. Andrea had leaned forward, her eyes bright. "That's brilliant, Nathan. Why isn't anyone doing this already?" "Because the AI needed doesn't exist yet," he'd explained. "But I know how to build it." She'd supported him when he decided to leave Microsoft, even leveraging her Goldman Sachs connections to help secure their mortgage. But something changed as she climbed the corporate ladder. Each promotion seemed to chip away at her respect for him. The warm smiles became tight-lipped. The interested questions turned to cutting remarks. The sound of the front door opening snapped Nathan back to the present. He minimized his work screens as Andrea's footsteps approached. The door to his office opened, and she appeared, impeccable in her designer suit despite the late hour. "Still playing with your little project?" Andrea's voice held the same tone she'd used to address a child's finger painting. Nathan turned, studying his wife. Her blonde hair was perfectly styled, makeup flawless. Too flawless for someone supposedly working late at the office. "Big breakthrough tonight, actually. The algorithm's showing unprecedented accuracy rates." "Fascinating," Andrea said, not bothering to hide her disinterest. "I'm sure it will be just as revolutionary as your last 3 years of breakthroughs." She turned to leave, then paused. "Oh, Dar's coming by tomorrow. He wants to discuss some investment opportunities with us." Nathan's jaw tightened at the mention of his older brother. "I'm sure he does." After Andrea left, Nathan pulled up his secure messaging app, checking the latest update from Vanessa Rodriguez. The former Nike executive had seen what Andrea couldn't or wouldn't. 6 months ago, her venture capital firm had quietly invested $2 million in his project, allowing him to hire a small team of remote developers. Latest tests exceeding expectations, Vanessa's message read. Google scouts are asking questions. Keep everything under wraps for now. Nathan smiled, a cold, calculating expression that would have shocked those who thought they knew him. In his top drawer, a small recorder captured every sound in the house, including Andrea's late-night phone conversations. On a secure server, every email she'd sent for the past year sat waiting. And in his safe, documentation of every late night at the office told its own story. Let them think him oblivious. Let them believe him weak. They'd learn soon enough. The sudden chime of his phone drew his attention. A message from his lead AI engineer, Sofia Martinez, lit up the screen. "Boss, you need to see this. The new neural network modifications are outperforming everything we've tried, running at 97.8% accuracy across all test cases." Nathan's fingers flew across the keyboard, pulling up the test results. The numbers confirmed Sophia's excitement. They weren't just close to a breakthrough. They were there. As he dove back into his work, Andrea's voice drifted through the walls again. She was still on the phone, her tone intimate in a way it hadn't been with him in years. I know. Just be patient. Once everything's in place, we'll never have to hide again." Nathan's expression hardened as he typed, each keystroke deliberate and precise. They thought him blind, consumed by his work. They mistook his silence for weakness, his focus for obsession. They never stopped to consider that perhaps he was seeing everything, cataloging every betrayal, building an arsenal that would destroy them so completely they'd never recover. The night deepened as Nathan worked, his code taking shape with the same methodical precision as his plans for revenge. In the bedroom down the hall, Andrea slept, dreaming of a future that would never come. And in his office, surrounded by the gentle hum of servers, Nathan Walsh continued building the trap that would ensure their downfall. Thursday morning arrived with Sophia Martinez's message, lighting up Nathan's phone screen with Sophia Martinez's urgent message. Major breakthrough. The size prediction accuracy hit 99.9%. Google's acquisition team wants a meeting. Nathan's heart raced as he read the message again. This was it, the moment that would validate everything he'd sacrificed. He pushed back from his desk, where he'd been working since Andrea left for her supposed early morning meeting. The sound of running water from their master bathroom told him Andrea had returned. As he headed to shower and change, movement caught his eye. A manila envelope protruding from Andrea's designer handbag, the distinctive letterhead of Kingston and Reed visible on the corner. Nathan's hands remained steady as he extracted the document. His brother's law firm's logo stared back at him, followed by words that confirmed every suspicion. Petition for divorce, preliminary filing. The date stamp showed 3 months of preparation. Are you going through my things? Andrea's sharp voice cut through the room. Nathan turned, his expression neutral. Interesting reading material. Andrea's face flushed, but her chin lifted defiantly. You weren't supposed to see that yet. But since you have, we might as well discuss it. Derek's coming over later to handle everything officially. Derek, Nathan repeated, his voice devoid of emotion. My brother's been quite involved in our marriage lately, hasn't he? He's been more of a man than you've been in years, Andrea spat. While you've been playing with your computers, he's been showing me what it means to be truly valued. Nathan's laugh held no humor. Valued? Is that what you call it? He moved to her laptop, open on the bedroom desk. Let's talk about value, Andrea. Her eyes widened as he typed, pulling up emails she thought were securely hidden. How did you? 8 months of hotel meetings, Nathan said, scrolling through the messages. Offshore account transfers. Plans to force me out before the company could succeed. He looked up, meeting her shocked gaze. Did you really think I wouldn't notice? Andrea's composure cracked. You're bluffing. You can't prove anything. Nathan's phone buzzed again. A message from James Morrison appeared. Surveillance footage collected, as requested. 8 months of hotel meetings confirmed. Offshore account transfers documented. Can I? Nathan's voice remained calm, reasonable. The voice of a man who held all the cards. Tell me, does Goldman Sachs know about your private trading activities? The ones targeting tech startups, including mine. The color drained from Andrea's face. You're lying. There's nothing to find. Server logs don't lie, Andrea. Neither do bank records. Nathan stood, straightening his jacket. But please go ahead with your plans. I'm sure Derek's waiting to hear how this all played out. As if on cue, the doorbell rang. Andrea's eyes darted between Nathan and the door. This isn't how this was supposed to go. No, Nathan agreed, heading for the stairs. It's not. Derek Walsh stood in their foyer, his expensive suit and confident smirk a practiced performance of success. His smile faltered slightly at Nathan's composed appearance. Little brother, Derek's voice boomed with false warmth. We need to talk. About the divorce papers you've been preparing? Or about your affair with my wife? Nathan's words landed like physical blows, causing Derek to step back. How dare you? Derek began, but Nathan cut him off. How dare I? That's rich coming from a man who's been embezzling from his own law firm. Nathan watched his brother's face pale. Oh yes, I know about that too. The offshore accounts, the client funds you've been diverting. Does Patricia Kingston No, her late husband's protege has become everything he despised. Andrea rushed down the stairs, her composed facade cracking. You're making wild accusations. No, Nathan interrupted, pulling out his phone. I'm stating facts. Facts that James Morrison has thoroughly documented. Would you like to see the surveillance footage? The bank records? The email trails? Derek's lawyer mask slipped, revealing raw fear. You're bluffing. Try me? Nathan's voice held steel. But before you do, you might want to check your firm's internal servers. It seems some interesting documents have found their way to the ethics committee. The silence that followed was deafening. Andrea and Derek exchanged panicked looks as their carefully constructed plans crumbled around them. Now, Nathan continued, his tone conversational. We can do this the hard way, with public exposure, criminal charges, and professional ruin. Or we can handle this civilly. Your choice. You wouldn't dare, Andrea hissed. You destroy yourself too. Nathan's smile was predatory. Would I? Check your email, Andrea. I believe you'll find some interesting correspondence from Google's acquisition team. It seems my little project is worth quite a bit more than you thought. As Andrea frantically pulled out her phone, Nathan turned to his brother. And Derek, you might want to contact your firm. Patricia Kingston left an urgent message about some irregularities in your client accounts. The facade of power they'd maintained shattered completely. Derek's face contorted with rage and fear, while Andrea's hands shook as she read the emails confirming Nathan's success. You planned this, Derek accused, his voice hoarse. No, Nathan corrected. I just paid attention. Now about those divorce papers. I believe you'll find my terms more than reasonable, considering the alternatives. The afternoon sun filled the kitchen as Nathan calmly reviewed the divorce papers spread across the granite countertop. Andrea and Derek stood opposite him, their earlier confidence replaced by barely concealed panic. Sign them and disappear, Derek demanded, attempting to maintain control. You're finished here? Nathan's laugh carried genuine amusement. Finished? That's an interesting choice of words. He pulled out his phone, typing briefly. Vanessa, are you ready? All set. Vanessa Rodriguez's voice came through the speaker. Google's team is standing by. Should I patch in Sophia? Please do, Nathan replied, enjoying the confusion on Andrea's face. Nathan, what's going on? Sophia Martinez's voice joined the call. The acquisition team is getting impatient. Just handling some personal business, Nathan responded. How's our accuracy looking? Holding steady at 99.9%, Sophia reported. The neural network improvements exceeded all benchmarks. Google's technical team is amazed. Andrea's face contorted with rage. What acquisition? What is she talking about? Oh, did I forget to mention? Nathan's voice dripped with false concern. My little project caught some attention. Quite a bit of attention, actually. The sound of another incoming call interrupted them. That would be James, Nathan said, adding him to the conversation. James, perfect timing. Would you mind sharing what you found? 8 months of surveillance footage documented. Detective James Morrison's professional tone filled the kitchen. Hotel meetings, restaurants, private clubs. The offshore account transfers are particularly interesting. Really sloppy work, Derek. Did you think nobody would notice? Derek lunged forward, his face purple with rage. You had us followed? Followed? No. Nathan's smile was razor sharp. I had you investigated. There's a difference. Professional misconduct, insider trading, conspiracy to defraud. The list is quite impressive. You're bluffing, Andrea whispered, but her voice lacked conviction. Patricia, would you like to weigh in? Nathan asked, and a new voice joined the call. Derek. Patricia Kingston's voice carried decades of legal authority. The ethics committee is reviewing your cases as we speak. The evidence is disturbing. Your mentor would be ashamed. Derek collapsed into a kitchen chair, his facade of power crumbling completely. Andrea remained standing, her manicured nails digging into the granite countertop. What do you want? She demanded. Want? Nathan looked genuinely surprised. I don't want anything from you, Andrea. I already have everything I need. The divorce papers are quite fair. You keep your Goldman Sachs position, for now at least. Though I suspect the SEC might have questions about some of your trading activities. You can't prove anything, Derek interjected, but his voice wavered. Can I? Nathan pressed a button on his phone, and emails began flooding both their phones. Every meeting, every transaction, every betrayal, documented, time-stamped, and verified. Would you like to see the hotel security footage? Or perhaps the offshore account records? This will destroy us, Andrea whispered. Yes, Nathan agreed simply. It will. Unless. Unless what? Derek demanded. Unless you both disappear. Quietly, completely, taking only what's outlined in these papers. Nathan's voice hardened. No contests, no claims, no attempts at revenge. You walk away, and these files stay sealed. And if we refuse? Andrea's chin lifted in a final show of defiance. Nathan's smile was cold. Then tomorrow morning, the SEC receives evidence of your insider trading. The Bar Association gets proof of Derek's ethical violations. Your employers, your colleagues, your friends, everyone learns exactly who you really are. You wouldn't, Derek started, but Nathan cut him off. Try me? He stood, gathering the papers. You have 1 hour to decide. My team is standing by. As if to emphasize his point, Vanessa's voice came through the speaker. Nathan, Google's representatives are asking about the meeting. Should I schedule it for tomorrow? Yes, Nathan replied, watching Andrea's face crumple as the reality of his success hit her. Tell them I'll be bringing my full team. Oh, and Andrea, he turned to his soon-to-be ex-wife. You might want to check your Goldman Sachs email. It seems someone anonymously reported some irregularities in your trading patterns. The kitchen fell silent except for Andrea's sharp intake of breath as she checked her phone. Derek's attempts to access his law firm's network met with denied access messages. 1 hour, Nathan repeated, heading for the door. Choose wisely. As he walked to his old Ford pickup, he heard Andrea's desperate sobs and Derek's angry cursing. His phone buzzed with messages from his team. Sophia confirming the Google meeting, James reporting more surveillance findings, Vanessa updating him on the acquisition negotiations, and Patricia detailing the law firm's internal investigation. Nathan smiled as he started the engine. They'd thought him weak, obsessed, easily dismissed. They'd never suspected that while he built his AI empire, he'd also orchestrated their downfall. By morning, their perfect worlds would lie in ruins, while his star rose in the tech industry. Let them learn the hard way. Never underestimate a man who codes while plotting revenge. Nathan surveyed his new apartment with calculated satisfaction. The modest one-bedroom in downtown Brooklyn served its purpose perfectly, projecting the image of a defeated man while providing an ideal base of operations. His development servers hummed quietly in the spare room, screens displaying real-time surveillance feeds of Andrea and Derek's activities. They took the bait, Vanessa Rodriguez announced, stepping into the apartment. Her designer suit and sharp demeanor contrasted with the deliberately sparse furnishings. Just got word from my contact at TechCrunch. They're running the first piece about a mysterious AI breakthrough tomorrow morning. Nathan nodded, pulling up multiple screens of data. Perfect timing. How's the tech community responding? Exactly as planned. The speculation is building. 3 venture capital firms have already reached out to my office, trying to identify the startup. Vanessa's smile held a predatory edge. They have no idea we're the ones feeding the rumors. A knock at the door interrupted them. Thomas Wright entered, his lanky frame carrying high-end surveillance equipment. The ethical hacker's eyes held a familiar anger, the same rage that had driven him to join Nathan's cause after Derek's legal manipulations had destroyed his sister's business. You're going to want to see this, Thomas said, connecting his laptop to Nathan's system. I've been monitoring Andrea's trading patterns. Look at these transactions. The screens filled with financial data, showing a complex web of insider trading activities. She's been selling information about tech companies to hedge funds, Thomas explained. Not just your company, dozens of startups. The patterns go back years. Can you trace it definitively? Nathan asked, his voice cold. Better than that. Thomas pulled up more documents. I found her private communications with the hedge funds. She's been using a supposedly secure messaging system. Amateur work compared to what we use. Vanessa studied the data. This is perfect. When should we send it to Goldman's compliance department? Not yet, Nathan decided. Let's wait until Marcus has everything in place. As if summoned by his name, Marcus Reynolds' face appeared on one of the screens. Andrea's passed-over former colleague at Goldman Sachs had his own scores to settle. "Nathan, you were right about the corporate espionage. I found records of Andrea accessing confidential information about multiple tech acquisitions. She's been selling tips about potential buyouts. Document everything," Nathan instructed. "We'll need it for the SEC filing." The door opened again, admitting Sofia Martinez. His lead developer's excitement was palpable. The latest AI improvements are revolutionary. Google's technical team is practically salivating. "But that's not why I'm here." She connected her tablet, displaying surveillance photos. "Look where our favorite couple spent last night." The images showed Andrea and Derek at an exclusive restaurant, their intimacy obvious. James Morrison's voice came through the speakers, the detective's professional tone tinged with satisfaction. "They're getting careless. Last week it was the Four Seasons. Now, they're not even trying to hide. Why should they?" Marcus commented bitterly. "They think they've won. Andrea's been strutting around Goldman like she owns the place." "That's about to change," Nathan said, studying the surveillance feeds. "Thomas, what about Derek's activities?" The hacker's fingers flew across his keyboard. "He's moving client funds offshore. Multiple accounts, complicated routing. He's planning to run once the divorce is finalized." Thomas's expression darkened. "Just like he did to my sister, drain everything and disappear." "Not this time." Nathan's voice held steel. "Vanessa, how's the tech press campaign progressing?" "Right on schedule. I've got journalists fighting for scraps of information about the revolutionary AI startup. The speculation is driving investors crazy." She smiled. "The valuation estimates are already hitting billions." A new face appeared on the screens. Rebecca Torres, the PR strategist Patricia Kingston had recommended. The narrative is taking shape perfectly. Every tech blog is trying to identify the mysterious founder who solved online shopping's holy grail. The timing couldn't be better. "Speaking of timing," Marcus interjected, "you should know, Andrea's assistant Isabella contacted me. She's been documenting Andrea's illegal activities for months. She wants to help." Nathan's expression remained neutral, but his eyes gleamed. "Arrange a meeting." Quietly, as his team coordinated their next moves, Nathan pulled up the latest surveillance footage. Andrea and Derek appeared in multiple frames, laughing, touching, planning their future. Their arrogance was palpable. "They really think it's over," Sophia observed, watching the feeds. "That you're finished?" "Let them," Nathan replied, his fingers dancing across the keyboard as he refined their AI's algorithms. Overconfidence makes people careless, and careless people make mistakes. The next few hours were a symphony of coordinated action. Thomas monitored digital communications, documenting every incriminating message. Marcus gathered evidence of Andrea's corporate espionage. Vanessa orchestrated the media campaign, while Sophia pushed their AI to new heights of performance. As evening approached, Rebecca's voice came through the system again. "Nathan, the tech blogs are going crazy. 3 different publications are running features tomorrow about the AI revolution in e-commerce. The speculation about the founder's identity is exactly where we want it." "Good," Nathan approved. "Keep them hungry. The mystery is our advantage." The screen showed Derek entering another high-end hotel, Andrea joining him minutes later. James's team documented everything, building an ironclad case. "They're planning to leave the country," Thomas reported, monitoring their communications. "Derek's looking at properties in non-extradition countries." Nathan's laugh held no humor. "They won't get the chance." He turned to his team. "Everything's proceeding according to plan. Keep pushing. Keep watching. Let them think they're untouchable." As his allies departed, each focused on their role in the coming destruction, Nathan remained at his command center. The screen showed Andrea and Derek celebrating their apparent victory, unaware that each moment of happiness brought them closer to ruin. Let them enjoy their triumph, Nathan thought, his fingers never stopping their work on the AI's code. The best chess players knew that sometimes, to win the game, you had to sacrifice a piece or two. Let your opponents think they'd gained the advantage, right until the moment their world collapsed. The night deepened as Nathan worked, his revenge taking shape with the same precision as his revolutionary algorithm. In their expensive hotel room, Andrea and Derek dreamed of their future together, never suspecting that every kiss, every touch, every secret meeting was another nail in their coffins. 3 weeks into their campaign, Nathan's team gathered in their secure command center, the screens alive with data and surveillance feeds. Thomas Wright's latest discovery had accelerated their timeline. "Look at these transactions," Thomas directed, his normally quiet voice intense. "Andrea is not just selling insider information. She's systematically targeting tech companies before major announcements. The hedge funds she's working with have made millions." Marcus Reynolds leaned forward, his Goldman Sachs training evident as he analyzed the patterns. "This is bigger than we thought. She's been using her position to access confidential merger and acquisition data. The SEC will have a field day with this." "When do we move?" Vanessa asked, her attention split between the financial data and the latest tech press coverage she'd orchestrated. Nathan studied the information, his expression calculating. "Thomas, prepare the evidence for Goldman's compliance department. Marcus, get everything ready for the SEC. But don't send it yet. Timing is crucial." Sophia burst into the room, her tablet displaying new test results. The AI's performance is off the charts. Google's technical team is amazed. "We're not just meeting their benchmarks. We're destroying them." "Perfect," Nathan approved. "Vanessa, arrange the next demonstration. Let's show them something that makes their current technology look obsolete." The screen shifted to show Derek arriving at another high-end restaurant. James Morrison's voice came through the speakers. "He's meeting with offshore banking contacts, trying to hide more assets. Let him dig his grave deeper," Nathan directed. "Thomas, are you tracking the transfers?" "Every penny," the hacker confirmed. "He's getting sloppy, using predictable patterns. Classic white-collar criminal behavior." When we released this to the ethics committee, a new face appeared on one of the screens. Isabella, Andrea's assistant at Goldman Sachs. The young woman's determination was evident. "Mr. Walsh?" Marcus said I should contact you directly. "Isabella," Nathan acknowledged. "Thank you for reaching out. Tell me what you've found." "Everything," she replied, her voice hard. "Years of illegal trades, corporate espionage, client manipulation. I have documented proof of Andrea selling confidential information about tech companies to hedge funds." She thought I was too naive to notice. Marcus smiled grimly. "Isabella's been gathering evidence since before we even started watching Andrea. She's got access to internal communications we couldn't reach. Why help us?" Nathan asked directly. Isabella's laugh was bitter. "Because Andrea destroys everyone she touches. She's ruined careers, manipulated markets, betrayed confidences. Someone needs to stop her. Send everything to Marcus," Nathan instructed. "He'll know how to use it." As Isabella's face disappeared from the screen, Rebecca Torres connected. "The tech blogs are in a frenzy. Every major publication is trying to identify our mysterious startup. The speculation about the AI breakthrough is driving investors crazy." "Excellent," Nathan approved. "Keep feeding them just enough to maintain the mystery. We need them hungry for the revelation." Sophia pulled up new data. "Google's team is getting impatient. They want another demonstration." "Give them one," Nathan decided. "Show them capabilities that will make their current systems look primitive." "Vanessa, arrange it for next week." "Already done," Vanessa confirmed. "The timing works perfectly with the press campaign Rebecca's running." The surveillance feed showed Andrea and Derek at another hotel, their confidence evident in every gesture. James's team documented everything, building an insurmountable case. "Their arrogance is their weakness," Thomas observed, monitoring their communications. "They're not even trying to hide anymore. Why should they?" Marcus commented. "Andrea struts around Goldman like she's untouchable. Every day she's there, more evidence piles up." Nathan's phone buzzed with a message from Patricia Kingston. The law firm founder's disgust with Derek's betrayal had made her a powerful ally. "Ethics committee meeting scheduled," she reported. "The evidence is overwhelming." "Perfect timing," Nathan replied. "Isabella's testimony will be the final nail." The screen showed Derek making another offshore transfer, his desperation becoming evident in his growing mistakes. Thomas tracked every movement, documenting each attempt to hide assets. He's getting nervous, the hacker reported, making basic errors in his attempts to cover his tracks. When this hits the ethics committee, his career will be over, Marcus finished. Just like all the people he's destroyed, Rebecca's face appeared again. Nathan, you need to see this. The tech press is running wild with speculation about our AI breakthrough. 3 major publications are calling it the holy grail of online shopping. Feed the frenzy, Nathan instructed, but maintain the mystery. The revelation will be so much sweeter when they're desperate for answers. As evening approached, the team coordinated their next moves. Thomas prepared the evidence for Goldman's compliance department. Marcus organized the SEC filing. Vanessa arranged the Google demonstration while Rebecca orchestrated the media campaign. The screen showed Andrea and Derek celebrating at another expensive restaurant, their victory seemingly complete. They never noticed James's surveillance team, never suspected that each moment of triumph brought them closer to destruction. Soon, Nathan promised his team, watching the feeds. Let them enjoy their success. The higher they climb, the harder they'll fall. The pressure campaign began with surgical precision. Thomas released the first batch of evidence to Derek's law firm's ethics committee, documentation of offshore accounts, mishandled client funds, ethical violations that spanned years. Initial impact confirmed, Thomas reported, monitoring the digital chaos erupting at Kingston and Reed. Derek's access to firm systems has been suspended pending investigation. Marcus coordinated with Isabella, timing the SEC investigation perfectly. Andrea's trading patterns have been flagged, he confirmed. Goldman's compliance department is launching a full audit. The surveillance feeds showed their target's first cracks appearing. Derek paced his office, phone pressed to his ear, desperation evident in every gesture. Andrea's usual confidence wavered as she faced questions about suspicious trades. James, Nathan directed, watching the feeds, release the surveillance footage to their employers. Show them exactly what their late-night meetings really were. The detectives' team executed perfectly, delivering damning evidence that shattered their carefully maintained facades. Hotel meetings, intimate dinners, explicit conversations about their plans, all documented in high-resolution detail. Andrea's assistant Isabella just resigned publicly, Marcus reported with satisfaction. Released emails documenting years of illegal behavior. Goldman's executives are in panic mode. The screen showed Andrea trying to maintain control as her world crumbled. Her attempt to access certain trading accounts met with denied permissions. Calls to her hedge fund contacts went unanswered. She's trying to delete evidence, Thomas noted, monitoring her digital activities. Amateur moves. We've already documented everything. Derek's situation deteriorated even faster. A junior partner, emboldened by the ethics investigation, filed a formal complaint backed by years of documented violations. Patricia Kingston's quietly gathered evidence proved devastating. His clients are fleeing, Vanessa reported, watching the law firm's internal chaos. Patricia's influence is ensuring maximum damage while protecting the firm's reputation. Nathan's team coordinated their attacks with precision. Thomas revealed more evidence of offshore accounts. Marcus triggered deeper investigations into Andrea's trading patterns. James released surveillance footage at strategic moments, destroying any possibility of denial. Google's technical team is amazed by our latest demonstration, Sophia announced, adding to their momentum. The AI's capabilities are beyond anything they've seen. They're pushing for immediate acquisition talks. Rebecca's media campaign reached fever pitch. Every tech blog is speculating about the mysterious founder, she reported. The timing couldn't be better. Their professional lives are imploding just as we prepare to reveal your success. The screen showed Andrea's increasing desperation as she faced questions from Goldman's compliance department. Her attempts to contact Derek met with silence. He was too busy dealing with his own destruction. They're turning on each other, Thomas observed, monitoring their communications. Derek's blaming Andrea for leaving evidence. She's threatening to expose more of his illegal activities. Nathan watched their destruction with cold satisfaction. Let them destroy each other. They've earned it. The pressure continued mounting. Isabella's testimony proved devastating to Andrea's defense. Patricia's evidence left Derek no room for escape. Their perfect worlds crumbled piece by piece, each revelation calculated for maximum impact. Andrea's access to Goldman's systems has been completely revoked, Marcus reported. SEC investigators are going through everything. The evidence trail leads exactly where we want it. Derek's attempts at damage control backfired spectacularly. His hasty press statement raised more questions than it answered. Patricia ensured the ethics committee saw through every deception. He's trying to access the offshore accounts Thomas tracked, but we've already flagged them for investigation. Every move he makes digs his grave deeper. The surveillance feeds showed their targets increasing isolation. Former friends and colleagues avoided them. Their calls went unanswered. The empire they'd built on betrayal collapsed under the weight of their own actions. Sophia's latest AI improvements are ready, Vanessa announced. The timing is perfect. While they're dealing with professional ruin, we'll demonstrate technology that makes everything else obsolete. Nathan studied the screens, showing Andrea and Derek's destruction. Prepare the final phases. It's time to show them exactly what they tried to steal. As night fell, his team coordinated the endgame. Thomas monitored their increasingly desperate communications. Marcus tracked the financial investigations. James released more surveillance footage while Rebecca prepared for the public revelation of their success. Let them feel the noose tightening, Nathan thought, watching their world burn. Every betrayal, every lie, every moment of arrogance, all of it led to this. Their destruction wasn't just revenge. It was justice, served cold and calculated, with no possibility of escape. The screens showed Andrea and Derek's separate attempts to salvage their careers, their relationship already fracturing under pressure. They'd thought themselves clever, untouchable in their betrayal. Now they learned the true cost of underestimating Nathan Walsh. Tomorrow would bring the final blow, the public announcement of his success, the revelation of their failure. But tonight, he watched them struggle, knowing that each moment of panic, each desperate attempt to escape, was payment for their treachery. The announcement detonated across the tech world at precisely 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Every major technology publication simultaneously released the story that would reshape the industry. Revolutionary AI startup sells to Google for $8 billion. Nathan's photo, professionally shot and carefully selected, appeared on TechCrunch, Wired, and dozens of other prominent sites. The headlines competed for attention. Unknown founder revolutionizes online shopping. Google acquires AI breakthrough in record-breaking deal. The man who solved e-commerce greatest challenge. In a stark conference room at Goldman Sachs, Andrea sat across from SEC investigators when the news broke. Her phone buzzed incessantly as notifications flooded in. The investigator paused his questioning, glancing at his own device. Ms. Walsh, he said, sliding his tablet across the table, or should I say, Ms. Soon-to-be ex-Walsh. Perhaps you'd like to explain how you failed to disclose your connection to this company in your trading records? Andrea's manicured nails dug into her palms as she read the headlines. The acquisition price made her dizzy. $8 billion. The company she dismissed as her husband's pipe dream had just become one of the year's biggest tech acquisitions. This interview is over, she announced, standing up. I need to contact my lawyer. Sit down, Ms. Walsh. The investigator's voice hardened. We're just getting started. Isabella's testimony arrived this morning. Fascinating reading. Across town at Kingston and Reed, Derek Walsh stood before the ethics committee when his assistant burst into the room, tablet extended. The press release filled the screen, his brother's success laid bare in irrefutable detail. Mr. Walsh, Patricia Kingston's voice cut through his shock. Given these new developments, perhaps you'd like to explain the discrepancies in your offshore accounts? Particularly those transfers coinciding with your brother's company's development milestones? Derek's phone exploded with messages. Clients, colleagues, family, all sharing the news, all questioning his judgment. His password for the firm's system had already been revoked. His access card deactivated. In her Goldman Sachs office, Isabella watched the chaos unfold with satisfaction. Her resignation letter, accompanied by years of documented evidence of Andrea's crimes, had been timed perfectly with the announcement. Marcus, she spoke into her phone. It's working exactly as Nathan planned. Andrea is being escorted out by security. The compliance team is sealing her office. At Google's headquarters, Sofia Martinez demonstrated their AI's capabilities to an audience of stunned executives. The technology didn't just meet their expectations, it shattered them. The size prediction accuracy is unprecedented, she explained, running through test cases. The neural network adapts to individual user preferences, learning from each interaction. We've solved the primary barrier to online shoe sales. Vanessa Rodriguez fielded calls from investors who dismissed them months earlier. I'm sorry, she repeated with practiced regret, but as announced, Google has already acquired exclusive rights. Yes, I understand you're interested. No, there won't be another opportunity for investment. Thomas Wright monitored the digital fallout from his command center. Derek's trying to access his offshore accounts, he reported to Nathan. But we've already flagged them for investigation. Every move he makes is being tracked. James Morrison's surveillance team captured Andrea's attempt to flee Goldman Sachs, her perfect composure finally cracking as security blocked her exit. Got it all on video, he confirmed. Her complete meltdown. Wonderful footage for the eventual prosecution. Rebecca Torres orchestrated the media coverage with surgical precision. Each outlet received carefully crafted aspects of the story, creating a comprehensive narrative that left no room for Andrea or Derek to spin their own versions. Nathan watched it all unfold from his new office, surrounded by screens showing real-time coverage of his triumph and their destruction. A message from Patricia Kingston appeared. Ethics Committee vote confirmed. Derek's disbarment proceedings begin immediately. Another alert. The SEC's formal investigation into Andrea's trading activities had been upgraded to include criminal charges. Her attempts to contact Nathan met an impenetrable wall of legal injunctions and security protocols. Sir, his assistant interrupted, Google CEO is on the line. They want to schedule the formal announcement ceremony. Nathan's smile held no warmth as he watched Andrea being led to a waiting FBI vehicle, her designer suit clashing with the reality of her situation. On another screen, Derek faced the press outside Kingston and Reed, his practiced legal confidence crumbling under the barrage of questions about his ethical violations. Schedule it, Nathan instructed, and make sure every major network carries it live. I want them to see exactly what they tried to destroy. The day continued, each hour bringing new developments in their downfall. Isabella's testimony proved devastating, her meticulous documentation leaving no room for denial. Patricia's evidence, combined with Thomas's digital trail of offshore accounts, created an insurmountable case against Derek. Their desperate attempts to reach Nathan failed. His new security team, led by James, had created an impenetrable barrier. Their calls went unanswered, their messages blocked, their legal threats neutralized before they could materialize. By evening, Andrea and Derek's worlds had completely imploded. Their phones had been confiscated, their assets frozen, their reputations destroyed. And on every screen, in every conversation, Nathan's success dominated the news. He'd done more than survive their betrayal. He'd turned it into the fuel for his greatest triumph, ensuring they lived to witness every moment of his rise and their fall. The next phase unfolded with methodical precision. Rebecca Torres arranged Nathan's exclusive interview with a leading tech journalist, the setting carefully chosen to highlight his journey from garage developer to industry revolutionary. Tell me about the challenges you faced, the journalist prompted, aware she was getting the story of the year. Innovation requires focus, Nathan replied, his voice measured. Unfortunately, some people mistake that focus for weakness. They see an opportunity to betray, to steal, never realizing they're only setting up their own destruction. The interview aired as Andrea faced her first federal court appearance. The charges were damning: insider trading, corporate espionage, conspiracy to defraud. Isabella's testimony had opened floodgates of evidence. The defendant used her position at Goldman Sachs to systematically exploit confidential information, the prosecutor declared. Ms. Rodriguez, could you explain what you discovered? Isabella took the stand, her preparation with Marcus evident in her confident testimony. Andrea Walsh orchestrated a complex scheme of insider trading, specifically targeting tech companies. She sold confidential information about potential acquisitions to hedge funds, including attempts to manipulate her husband's company's valuation. In another courtroom, Derek's disbarment proceedings revealed decades of ethical violations. Patricia Kingston's evidence, presented by the Bar Association, painted a devastating picture of corruption. Mr. Walsh didn't just betray his brother, the Ethics Committee chairman stated. He betrayed every principle of legal ethics. The evidence shows a pattern of misconduct spanning his entire career. Thomas's digital forensics left no room for defense. Every transaction, every offshore transfer, every attempt to hide assets, documented and verified. Derek's lawyers struggled to explain the millions flowing through accounts in non-extradition countries. Sophia's demonstration at the major tech conference cemented Nathan's technical genius. The AI's capabilities amazed the audience, making competitor systems look primitive by comparison. The neural network's learning capabilities are revolutionary, she explained to a packed auditorium. Every interaction improves its accuracy. We've created something that will transform online retail forever. Andrea's attempt at damage control backfired spectacularly. Her tearful television interview, designed to paint herself as a victim, collapsed under the weight of evidence. You claim ignorance of the trading violations, the interviewer pressed, but we have documented proof of your communications with hedge funds. Could you explain these emails? The screen displayed messages Isabella had preserved, showing Andrea's calculated exploitation of confidential information. Her composure cracked entirely when faced with her own words. Derek's legal defense crumbled when Thomas revealed his latest attempts to hide assets. The ethical hacker had tracked every transaction, every attempt at concealment. Even during the disbarment proceedings, Thomas reported to the Ethics Committee. Mr. Walsh continued moving client funds offshore. Each transfer has been documented and flagged for criminal investigation. James's surveillance footage, released at strategic moments, destroyed any remaining public sympathy. Video after video showed Andrea and Derek's conspiracy unfolding, their betrayal captured in high-resolution detail. The surveillance was completely legal, James confirmed when questioned. Every recording occurred in public spaces, documenting criminal conspiracy and ethical violations. Rebecca managed the public narrative masterfully, ensuring each revelation built upon the last. Nathan's story of betrayal and triumph resonated across media platforms, while Andrea and Derek's denials fell flat. The evidence speaks for itself, Rebecca told reporters. Every allegation is supported by documentation, testimony, and digital records. There's no room for alternative interpretations. Patricia Kingston's public denouncement of Derek carried special weight. The law firm founders discussed with her protégé's betrayal was evident in every word. Kingston & Reed was built on principles of integrity, she declared. Derek Walsh violated not just our trust, but every ethical standard of our profession. His actions demand the severest consequences. Nathan watched the justice system dismantle their lives with cold satisfaction. Each charge proven, each defense crushed, each attempt at escape blocked by his team's meticulous preparation. They thought they could destroy me, he told Vanessa as they watched Andrea's criminal indictment unfold. Instead, they destroyed themselves. The legal consequences mounted like avalanches. Andrea faced multiple federal indictments, each carrying significant prison time. Derek's disbarment proceedings revealed corruption that would take years to fully investigate. Their attempts to fight back only dug their graves deeper. Every denial was met with evidence, every excuse contradicted by documentation, every plea for sympathy countered by proof of their calculated betrayal. 1 year later, Nathan stood on the World Economic Forum stage in Davos, his success no longer breaking news but established fact. The audience of global leaders and industry titans listened intently as he outlined his vision for AI-driven personal shopping. Innovation isn't just about technology, he declared, his authority undeniable. It's about understanding human behavior, anticipating needs, and delivering solutions that transform industries. His core team sat in the front row, each now a success story in their own right. Sophia Martinez, his CTO, had revolutionized their AI capabilities further. Vanessa Rodriguez headed global strategy, expanding their technology into new markets. Rebecca Torres managed their public image with unmatched skill, while James Morrison's security protocols set new industry standards. In a federal prison facility, Andrea watched the broadcast on a shared television, her designer wardrobe replaced by standard-issue clothing. Her fall from Goldman Sachs' grace was complete, her reputation in the banking world destroyed beyond repair. Derek's fate proved equally fitting. He'd fled to a non-extradition country, his law career and family name ruined. Thomas's team continued tracking and freezing his hidden funds, each discovery reducing his resources further. Another account located, Thomas reported during their weekly executive meeting. He's running out of places to hide money. Soon he won't even be able to afford his exile. Patricia Kingston had transformed her law firm, emerging stronger from Derek's scandal. Marcus Reynolds, now heading their tech division, brought new energy to the traditional practice. The firm's reputation has never been stronger, Patricia noted with satisfaction. Sometimes removing cancer allows healthy growth. Isabella's whistleblower status had launched an unexpected career. Her consulting firm, specializing in corporate ethics and compliance, attracted clients eager to avoid Andrea's fate. The best defense against corruption, she told her clients, is recognizing it before it destroys your company. Thomas's security firm, backed by Nathan's investment, protected other startups from corporate espionage. His sister's lost business had been avenged many times over through their success. The evening found Nathan hosting a private dinner for his team, celebrating their continued achievements. The restaurant's private room hummed with confident energy, success evident in every detail. A young entrepreneur approached their table, her determination familiar. Nathan recognized the hunger in her eyes, the same drive he'd had before everything changed. "Mr. Walsh," she began, clutching her business plan, "your story inspired me. I have this idea." Nathan studied her for a moment, then gestured to an empty chair. "Join us," he invited. Success isn't just about innovation. The team exchanged knowing looks as Nathan continued. It's about building the right team, maintaining your integrity, and remembering that karma works best with a little strategic planning. As they shared their experiences with the newcomer, Nathan reflected on the journey. Andrea's prison sentence ensured she'd never work in finance again. Derek's exile grew more desperate as his hidden funds disappeared. Their betrayal had cost them everything, while his revenge had built an empire. The biggest mistake people make, he told the young entrepreneur, is underestimating those they try to destroy. True strength isn't in avoiding betrayal. It's in making sure the betrayers regret their choice forever. The team raised their glasses, each remembering their role in the perfect revenge. They'd done more than succeed. They'd ensured that anyone who learned their story would think twice before betraying trust. In his pocket, Nathan's phone buzzed with another alert. Thomas's team had located Derek's last significant offshore account. Soon, his brother wouldn't even have the comfort of wealthy exile. The young entrepreneur absorbed their lessons eagerly, unaware she was learning from masters of not just business success, but calculated vengeance. Nathan's revenge hadn't just destroyed his betrayers. It had become a legend in the tech world, a warning to anyone who mistook innovation for weakness. To the future, Nathan toasted, his success complete, his vengeance eternal. Let the world learn. Never underestimate a man who codes while plotting revenge. Epilogue: 5 years later. The Federal Women's Correctional Facility in Danbury, Connecticut housed many fallen executives, but none quite like Andrea Walsh. 5 years into her 12-year sentence, her once perfect manicure had given way to institutional pragmatism. Her designer wardrobe, replaced by prison-issued clothing, hung in some evidence warehouse, much like her former life, preserved only as proof of her crimes. "Inmate Walsh," the guard announced, "your visitor's here." Andrea shuffled into the visitation room, hands cuffed, to find Isabella Martinez waiting. Her former assistant now ran one of the most respected corporate compliance consulting firms in New York. "Hello, Andrea," Isabella said, placing a folder on the table between them. "I'm here about your upcoming parole hearing." Andrea's eyes narrowed. "Nathan sent you." "No," Isabella smiled. I'm here because your case study is the cornerstone of my firm's training program. Every executive who takes our compliance course learns about your fall. The woman who thought she could outsmart the SEC, betray her husband, and walk away wealthy. She opened the folder. Would you like to see your legacy? The documents detailed Andrea's systematic destruction. Her assets had been seized, her Goldman Sachs pension forfeited, her professional licenses permanently revoked. The SEC had used her case to strengthen enforcement protocols. Business schools taught her downfall as a warning about insider trading. The parole board asked me to assess your rehabilitation, Isabella continued. I'm curious. Do you understand what you lost? Not just freedom, but respect, influence, your entire identity. In a rundown apartment in Bogota, Colombia, Derek Walsh stared at his dwindling bank balance. Thomas Wright's team had located and frozen another account just last week. 5 years of exile had reduced the former law partner to living on cash withdrawals from increasingly obscure financial institutions. His phone buzzed, another notification from LinkedIn. Patricia Kingston's law firm had just been named one of New York's most innovative practices, their tech division under Marcus Reynolds revolutionizing legal services for startups. Derek's attempt to practice law in Colombia had failed spectacularly. His disbarment in the U.S. had made him radioactive internationally. No reputable firm would touch him, and his attempts to trade on his former status met with doors slammed in his face. A news alert caught his attention. Walsh AI expands global reach. The article detailed his brother's latest triumph, a partnership with major European retailers expanding his AI shopping technology across continents. Meanwhile, in Silicon Valley, Nathan Walsh stood in his company's new headquarters. The 20-story building, all glass and steel, housed over 2,000 employees. His original AI shoe-sizing algorithm had evolved into a comprehensive platform revolutionizing online retail. The latest numbers are incredible, Sofia Martinez, his CTO, reported during their executive meeting. The neural network's accuracy rate is approaching perfection. Retail partners report return rates below 1%. Vanessa Rodriguez, now president of global operations, pulled up market projections. We're looking at another record quarter. The European expansion exceeded all expectations. Speaking of expectations, Rebecca Torres, chief communications officer, interjected. The Wall Street Journal wants to do a feature on our 5th anniversary of going public. They're particularly interested in the origin story. Nathan's smile held no warmth. Give them the usual narrative. Triumph over adversity. Innovation through determination. No need to mention the specifics of what drove our success. James Morrison, heading global security, pulled up his latest report. Derek's getting desperate in Colombia. He tried opening accounts under a false name last week. We shut them down within hours. How's our friend Thomas doing with the tracking? Nathan asked. His security firm's technology is unmatched, James replied. Derek hasn't managed to hide a single transaction for more than 72 hours in the past year. Patricia Kingston joined their meeting virtually. Her law firm's continued partnership a testament to loyalty rewarded. The latest appeal of Andrea's sentence was denied, she reported. The judicial panel cited the overwhelming evidence and the need to maintain deterrence in financial crimes. Isabella's visiting her today, Marcus Reynolds added from the law firm's office. Apparently, the parole board wants an expert opinion on rehabilitation prospects. Nathan nodded, satisfaction evident. And how's Isabella's consulting firm performing? Expanding rapidly, Marcus confirmed. Every major bank wants their compliance teams to hear directly from the whistleblower who brought down Andrea Walsh. Her story makes quite an impression. The meeting continued, each update confirming the completeness of his revenge. Andrea's imprisonment had become a cautionary tale in financial circles. Derek's exile served as a warning to anyone considering betrayal. Their attempts at rebuilding lives had crumbled under the relentless pressure of consequences. Later that evening, Nathan hosted a dinner at his Atherton estate. His core team gathered to celebrate another successful quarter, their loyalty rewarded with wealth and influence beyond measure. I heard from my contact at Goldman, Marcus shared over dinner. They've added Andrea's case to their permanent training materials. Every new employee learns about her crimes. Derek tried reaching out to his old law school connections, Patricia added. No one will even take his calls. His name is toxic in legal circles. Thomas joined them via secure video link, his security firm's success evident in his sophisticated setup. We've identified 3 more accounts he tried to hide. By next month, his funds will be reduced to basic living expenses. Andrea's former clients at Goldman still talk about her downfall, Isabella noted. It's become something of a legend in banking circles. How thoroughly she destroyed herself through greed and betrayal. Sophia raised her glass. To karma and the technology that made it unstoppable. To strategic planning, Vanessa added with a knowing smile. And the perfect execution of justice. Nathan surveyed his team, brilliant, loyal, ruthless in pursuit of their shared goals. They'd done more than destroy his betrayers. They'd built an empire on the ashes of that destruction. In Danbury, Andrea lay on her narrow prison bed, institutional lights dimming for the night. Her parole hearing loomed, but Isabella's visit had confirmed what she already knew. There would be no early release, no chance at redemption. Her crimes, documented in excruciating detail, had become a textbook example of hubris and corruption. Across the world in Bogota, Derek counted his remaining cash, knowing another account freeze was inevitable. His attempts to contact former colleagues met with silence or disgust. The legal career he'd sacrificed his integrity to build had crumbled to dust, leaving him in exile, watching his brother's success from the shadows. Neither of them had understood, all those years ago, the true nature of the man they'd tried to destroy. They'd mistaken focus for weakness, dedication for obsession. Their betrayal had unleashed not just revenge, but a transformation that reshaped industries and redefined success. Nathan's AI technology continued evolving, each innovation expanding his influence. His team's loyalty, forged in the crucible of revenge, had created an unshakable foundation for continued dominance. They'd proven that karma worked best with strategic planning, precise execution, and the patience to watch justice unfold in all its brutal glory. The betrayers had gained a harsh education. Never underestimate a man who combines brilliant innovation with ruthless revenge. Their punishment wasn't just the loss of freedom or status. It was the daily knowledge that their attempt to destroy Nathan had instead destroyed themselves, transforming him from a supposed failure into a tech visionary who reshaped the future while ensuring they had none. In his Atherton estate, Nathan raised a final toast with his team. To the power of patience, he said, his success complete, his revenge eternal. And to the lesson some people learn too late, betrayal has consequences, and those consequences last forever. And there you have it. Another story comes to an end. What did you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this story, consider joining our community by subscribing. It means the world to us. For more stories like this one, check out the recommended videos on screen. And I'll see you there.